Hello, my name is Syed. The topic of this presentation is how can I reduce my environmental footprint. The focus will be on reducing my footprint by taking public transport to work versus driving. What does environmental footprint mean? The concept of an environmental footprint is relatively new and due to differing opinions on what exactly it is. The topic can often seem confusing. Like many environmental issues, the term has been debated and muddled, with different opinions on what it means, what it includes, and the application for our purposes. However, we will use a definition from Cambridge Business English Dictionary. The effect that a person, company, activity, etc. has on the environment, for example, the amount of natural resources that they use and the amount of harmful gases that they produce. This definition could be explained better in this diagram. The ecological footprint measures how fast we consume resources and generate waste compared to how fast nature can absorb our waste and generate new resources. The footprint represents two sides of a balance sheet. On the asset side, biocapacity represents the planet's biologically productive land areas, including our forests, pastures, cropland, and fisheries. These areas, especially if left unharvested, can also absorb much of the waste we generate, especially our carbon emission. Areas that makes up your footprint: energy, water, waste. Now the issue is how can I reduce my footprint? To do that, I have planned to do activity within these following steps. Step 1. Find out ecological footprint of the world and Australia to compare with. Step 2. Take a quiz. Use footprint calculator to find out my impact on environmental footprint. Step 3. Plan to reduce your environmental footprint. How can I reduce my footprint? Brainstorm different ideas to help lower my environmental footprint. Cut down on electricity, decrease water consumption, reduce consumables, utilities, reduce transport. Pick up one activity that has major impact on my footprint, driving a car to work. Calculate environmental footprint for this activity. Find solution to lower the impact. World Ecological Footprint Living Planet Report 2014 shows that 1.5 Earths would be required to meet the demands humanity makes on nature each year. Between 1970 and 2010, the population sizes of vertebrate species have dropped by half. WWF found Living Planet Report 2014 found that in 2010 the global ecological footprint was 18.1 billion global hectare. Earth's total biocapacity was 12 billion GHA. This means that Earth people needed 18 billion hectare of productive land in order to provide each and every person with the resources they require to support their lifestyle and to absorb the waste they produce. The bad news is that there were only 12 billion global hectares available. This means that in 2010 people use about 50% more natural resources than the planet could regenerate. The message is clear and urgent. We need to consume less if we are to live within the regenerative capacity of the earth. Ecological footprint and biocapacity in Australia since 1961. Technological advances have raised the planet's total biocapacity from 9.9 to 12 billion GHA between 1961 and 2010. However, during that period, the human population has risen from 3.1 billion to nearly 7 billion people, reducing the available biocapacity. Carbon has been the dominant component of humanity's ecological footprint for more than a half a century. In 1961, carbon was 36% of our total footprint, but by 2010 it comprised 53%. Ecological footprint by consumption category for Australia. According to Global Footprint Network statistical sources in Australia, we are consuming more than three times our fair share of the planet's natural resources. On a global scale, Australia has one of the largest environmental footprint per capita in the world, requiring 6.25 global hectares per person. If the rest of the world lived like we do in Australia, we would need regenerative capacity of 3.6 Earth to sustain our demand on nature, as can be seen in the diagram in the year 2003-2004. The approximate contribution of the various components were food 24%, goods 17%, energy use 13%, and mobility 11%, etc. Our way of life in Australia is threatening the future of our planet. We have been exceeding the Earth's ability to support our lifestyle. Habitats are being destroyed, our soils and waterways are being degraded. The balance must be restored. How is an ecological footprint calculated? We use these formulas for this calculation. Information required to calculate the transportation footprint, method of transportation, various energy utilized, waste or toxin produced, material required, distance traveled. How big is my car footprint? Before starting the calculation, note I I I want to say some note. This is an underestimate as I did not factor in the footprint of the car itself or the maintenance of the car. What is the effect of carpooling? There is only one person, that is me, making the commute. If I share this commute with another person, each of our commuting footprint is cut in half. The reduction is from 1.65 to 0.82 acres and from 36% to 13%. If three or more people share the commute, the reduction would be even greater. In this case, if if we calculate the footprint of the car, that's 1.25419 hectare at the end. But if we use the public transport, so in that case, we got the figure of the footprint at the end of the calculation 0.5016. So which shows that significantly reduce your ecological footprint. You would need to make lower resource intensify lifestyle choices along the area. Some of the things we can do: reduce your transport footprint, save money to protect our environment when getting from A to B, reduce your car use, car share, offset your car emission. Try the quiz again, the changing my answer so that my ecological footprint is reduced by half or more. This is the references. Thank you very much for my presentation.